Welcome back to another episode of Legacy Builders Unleashed. I'm your host, 𝗙𝗡𝗙𝗏. I'm excited today because I'm going to be talking to, and you're going to be learning from Gavin Coyle. And, when you hear him speak, you already know he's Irish, but he's actually joining us from Ireland. So really cool. Get to talk a little bit and just kind of make the world a little bit smaller in this space to have real communication and conversation about business, life, and what it means to be an entrepreneurship. So great to have you here, Gavin.
Melinda, I'm absolutely buzzing for today. So thanks very much for having me on the podcast, and hello to all the listeners and viewers.
Brilliant. Yes. Okay. So where I want to start, and we really don't have questions. So I kind of wanted to have it more organic and just get a little bit of your personality. So tell people like what you do and tell them about your podcast.
Okay. So I own a business with my wife called Coyle Group, and Coyle Group is a recruitment agency that also does consulting in the area of health and safety and in the industries of power generation, wind energy, utilities, and engineering across the world. So if someone's looking for a health and safety manager to manage a project, whether it be a wind farm or a power plant, come to me. My background is I have a master's in health and safety. I have qualification in law and corporate governance, and I've been doing it for 25 years. And that's all I know.
That's all you know. That's your mastery. That is so cool. But you know what? But like having a construction background and working for big commercial construction, when it comes to health and safety, it's a big deal. Like it's not just a checking the box. It's making sure that performance is done well and that there's savings on both sides.
I'm glad you said the words savings. We wrote the book, Workplace Safety on a Budget, which can be got on Amazon. For that reason was that people were telling me that safety costs too much money, and in order to do good safety or to have a good standard of health and safety, you need to spend a lot of money, which is not true. And so the book was written with that in mind. All of the different cheats, if you like, that I've learned over the years of how you can do health and safety at a very high level, but at a very minimal budget. It's very achievable. I see it even today where there's a lot of waste in health and safety in terms of employers spending money in certain areas when there's no real impact. But it looks good for the client. So the client might think, oh, wow, we've got this amazing program costing them thousands, but what is the impact or what is the outcome is what I would ask. And I'm fascinated with efficiency. I'm fascinated with lean. I don't have a qualification in lean, but my own organization is like 4 people, but it's a multi-million pound operation, a global operation. So it shows you don't need to have a massive amount of management in order to run a multi-million pound company. It helps, but who's doing what and are they effective? That's what I look at.
100%. So for our listeners and watchers who are not familiar with lean principles, would you mind breaking a little bit down? Because actually I use it in my business too, because it's so stellar of a system.
It's kind of, if we take a roll back to Tim Ferriss's book, I suppose, where he spoke about, doing a couple of hours a week in order to run a multi-million pound business. Shortly, I suppose that was a bestseller. And shortly after that, then lean started becoming more of a topical discussion within business. In fairness to the Japanese and with the Toyota manufacturing plant, they were the first real, I suppose, companies to put a framework together of what lean is, and so in fact, one of the Toyota lean experts gave us a testimonial for the book, and he was excited because he was kind of putting lean and health and safety together is not really a combination. And bravely or stupidly, I put it together. And I do have some critics who people say, like, you shouldn't be talking about lean and safety in the same way. But the way I look at it is good safety is good business.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's an overall part of the business. It doesn't have to be the all and everything, It has to be part of the system and the process and the culture. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. So like,
where we
sorry, go
come
ahead.
in. Sorry, that's where our focus is with customers and with clients is, look, how can we do this most efficiently for you? So, very quickly we realized there was a market for providing temporary top quality health and safety people for projects, because they didn't want to pay for a full-time health and safety manager and only have maybe one project a year, or a project that only lasts for a couple of months. So rather than having a full-time salary role, they would come to us and ask us for somebody for 6 months, for example. So that's, that again, our recruitment business bore out of that sort of need requirement, if you like.
That's so cool. It's interesting learning more about your business. The back end of it is just responding to the demand that already exists in the marketplace. And then obviously you're building a global empire from that, just responding to a demand. Was it always that case? Did you already know that about entrepreneurship and businesses? Well, let me just respond to the demand, or did you have a different idea or vision for your business when you're getting started?
Good question. It's a fully loaded question, Melinda. My father had a business, a grocery business, and he went bankrupt. And so I seen the two sides of wealth creation and wealth destruction. And it's amazing, even at a young age, how much you absorb and monitor and sort of put into the filing cabinet here. Because when you look back at, what were the indicators that led him to fall, we're back to sort of, simple things like knowing your numbers, managing the monthly management accounts, all stuff that's not safety related here. That we're talking about good business. It wasn't really a thing back in the day. It was like, people use books. He even used books for giving people tick. I don't know if you remember tick, but like, you didn't have to pay for your groceries up front. So so basically you just
put it on
down
my
the cash,
tab.
put it on the tab, and Mrs. Old Murphy from whatever apartment or flats, her name was written down in the book with her address, and crazy stuff. Like, so here you are paying for all these groceries, giving it out for free, and then hoping that somebody's going to come pay you then in a couple of weeks' time, or if it's Christmas, you might as well wait till January or February before you're going to get that money back.
Wow.
So I suppose took lessons from there. I got a great education from the company. So my mother and father couldn't afford to send me to college, so I left school, and through working on construction sites, the company I went working for put me through college. So yeah, I was lucky enough, and I would encourage anyone that's listening or watching that, if you find the diamond in the rough, and I'm not saying I'm a diamond by any means, but if you find somebody that has a good work ethic and are loyal and will stick with you, educate them, give them that extra, lift that maybe where they don't have that opportunity. Invest in people, and it will return. I didn't leave that company for over 10 years. And the only reason I did leave them was because directorship was not on the cards. And I went out into business with another guy, and we set up a training, consulting, and safety products business, which done reasonably well for a period of time. And then I decided, no, there's a niche in recruitment and in the area of health and safety, and that's where I kind of focused my area. And another thing that I learned from that was focus on what you're good at and focus on a service in a niche industry. And you have that sort of moat around your business, because I found there wasn't that many competitors in my space. And there is today, it's more and more competitive than what it was. But at the time, there wasn't people that was niching in the area of health and safety in recruitment in those industries.
Yeah, 100%. It honestly, I think it was just about 15 years ago, where I started seeing more, especially on the commercial side, more mentions of health and safety. And before, it was just like a project manager or superintendent would be responsible for just meeting, building requirements or OSHA requirements for health and safety. So really
Yeah.
interesting that, I kind of want to like back up into education, because one of the things that I notice in the market, just in the marketplace in terms of entrepreneurship, is what is the fastest way? Like, how can I make a quick buck? But what I'm hearing you say is that long term growth of a business. You didn't start out with your recruiting business, you evolved into the recruiting
Correct.
business.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
so it's like that is really smart, but you stayed in your lane. You weren't just like, you know, all of the expertise, the knowledge, the mastery that I have developed over the years is is not good for me. But no, I'm going to utilize, I'm going to leverage it to build a successful business. That's exactly what you did. And you simplified it versus
Yeah.
trying to go and create something brand new from scratch.
Well, it's hard enough to do when you're a small company. It's hard enough to do one thing right, rather than having to do with 2 or 3 different things. And I see it with other companies. Electrician might be told or asked, "Hey, can you do the CCTV? Can you do the audio visual?" And next thing, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you're doing. And I have been asked in the past, and I've in the initial stages, Melinda, I definitely, you take what you can get in terms of
Yeah.
trying to, like, the first couple of years you're fighting for survival. So you'll take what you can get. But once you
Yeah.
mature, you should be able to settle down into an area of where you're focusing on. And what I found, and I don't know if the listeners would find this as well, but everybody speaks a different language in the different industries. So
Yes.
if I'm in the aviation business, there's a different type of language to the manufacturing sector, and
Yeah.
the building sector has a different language to the energy sector, for example.
Yeah.
And again, if I'm looking for people, the people that are working in manufacturing and are in the area of health and safety are no use to me in terms of what I'm looking for in terms of power plants or wind energy projects, because albeit the legal system might be the same and the framework of the legal system might be the same and the standards might be 45,001,
Yeah.
the application and the experience and the know-how and the knowledge is not there. So our guys then would be like the guys that work for us would be minimum 10 years experience up to 25 years experience in health and safety. We don't deal
Oh, that's good.
with the graduate level or the mid tier or mid-level health and safety people. We don't really deal with them. It's because when the customers come to us, they're looking for a manager to manage maybe 2,000,
Mm.
3,000 people on a construction project, a large engineering project, building something out of this world, if you like. So
Yeah.
they can't have somebody learning on the job.
That's right. That's right. So, okay, there's a few things that I want to tie up together, because I think that's really what you're saying is really, really valuable. One thing is, I kind of want to circle back to your dad, and the lesson in that is that I took away from that story. And listen, we all have done it. We've all done it, where we lead with our heart in business and we want to be helpful. We want to serve and support people, but we
Yeah,
often forget that in order to serve, we have to fill up our own batteries. We need to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can give. If we don't
yeah,
have anything to give, we can't give. So that's one. But it actually dovetails into what we're talking about now in terms of building a business the right way. And I'm not saying right because it's based off our standards, like you and I, our standards. I'm just not talking about in terms of the results of success, like less pain, less headache, hiring experts versus hiring cheaply,
yeah,
hiring people with a drive to work, a drive to learn something. They might not be all of it on paper, but they're willing to do the work, because that's key, that's important. That's way more valuable than hiring someone who's cheap, who just got out of college, and we can refine him and create him to be something that we want him to be. No, that never works out ever. And Ask us how we know. We're from corporate America. This is what they do. And it just doesn't work out. There's a higher turn rate. And for a small business owner, you can't afford that.
Correct.
You need to hire people who are seasoned so that it builds stability faster. And so, yes, that means that it establishes a boundary for your clients to pay you. So, yes, you want to be servant hearted, you want to be focused on serving people, but you also need to be considerate on being a service for a long period of time, not just for today, but how can I withstand the seasons and also be there for, Miss Robinson's that's down at the different flat and, for 5-10 years from now. And in
Yeah.
order to do that, I have to set expectation to say, I can't put it on the tip. I have to be able to take money from you so that I'm here for
And
tomorrow.
survive.
So
Yeah.
this is really kind of circulating around boundaries and in business, because boundaries in business are really difficult. Would you say?
Yeah. There was other elements of that business as well. He was second generation in that business, and I don't think because it was handed to him, I don't think he respected it enough or as much as the founder. And I think there's a very tough statistic on generational businesses where if the second generation doesn't mess it up, the third generation will definitely mess it up. I think it's like 80%, something crazy. It's in around 80%. But I definitely feel that you need to innovate as well. Like the big supermarket chains weren't a thing at the time, but
Right.
they started coming in, and you have your Walmarts, but in Ireland and the UK it would be Tesco's came in, and like they just wiped out the small local business. And so that business probably wouldn't have survived because they weren't innovating the business anyway. It was, well, what are you doing different? What are you really doing different in order to protect yourself? He wouldn't have been able to buy the produce at the level of these supermarket chains or these super chains. So they would have taken them out. They would have taken them out anyway.
Yeah.
Unless he was able to find a niche product or service within the business. And I would find I'm always constantly looking in our own business of ways and means to make our business more efficient, but also to make our clients' business more efficient. And if you're not, I know everybody's talking about AI at the moment, but if you're not taking AI seriously at the moment, you should, because it will come up and it will break or make your business. And I know it sounds fairly dramatic, but it's true. It's true.
I mean, I've seen it across my clients' businesses. They're in commercial real estate, construction, energy, healthcare, at higher education, aviation, like across the board, everyone is feeling it. There are few. Now, I attended a conference a few months ago, and I was sitting next to a woman who owns a disability facility in Miami. And she, so the way that her business works and how the government here gets involved is they can't type out the notes for their patients. They have to handwrite them and then fax them in. But that's archaic. There's no way that they can continue that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
There's no way that they can continue.
Yeah.
So I was telling her about AI, and we're having this conversation, said, are you starting to use ChatGPT? Just start doing something.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I never use it for my business. I'm like, but what about like inventory or stock or, communication, website, like phone calls, anything. And it's, what you're tapping onto, Gavin, is innovation with what is next. We can't fight with what's next. We just have to evolve with what's next. And it's actually where we find the most excitement. To be honest,
I
because
agree.
let's be
Yeah.
real. Once everything starts working in business, it's boring. And then when there's an innovative or kind of like something that pushes the needle, it is exciting because now we get to play as
Yeah,
visionaries.
yeah, yeah. I we have a saying within the business, innovate with purpose.
Yeah.
There's no point in innovating for the sake of innovating, because you can go down a rabbit hole, and we've seen that where the marketing guys do a really good job at telling you why you need this piece of software, and then you realize that that software doesn't exactly fit the need for your business, or
Yeah.
that it's too big a software and it takes too much management to admin or to oversee the software. That's not going to be the case with AI, because AI is basically saying to you, tell me where the bottle holes or the bottlenecks are within your business, and I will fix them for you. That's pretty
Yes.
much what AI is doing. So, for example, and I'll share the link with you so you can put it in the show notes. But we're
Yeah.
we're um, we're a partner with an AI firm from the States, actually, liveswitch.com. I'll send you the link and you'll get 10% discount on it. And
And then also
basically,
send me the link to the book, by the way, because we want
and
to make sure that people can get that too.
no problem at all. No problem at all, Melinda. Live Switch, I can go into my platform on the desktop and ring you now, and you can then flip around your camera and show me your room or whatever project you have, and do a full video analysis with me and say, hey, Gavin, I want to put in new heating and plumbing, new floors, and the approximate floor size is X, Y, and Z. AI is listening to that whole conversation. When we close up the call, I can go into the prompt and say, hey, AI, whatever, do me up a quote, labor, time, and materials, and do me up a contract for Melinda, and do me up all the safety paperwork that I need in order to make sure that the job is safe, and send it to me. And within 5 minutes, you'll have everything. And the estimate is within $100 of accuracy in terms of the money. That's ridiculous.
That's blowing me away. That's blowing me away. I know so many trades that are like, oh, I gotta do proposals, I gotta do
None of that.
invoices, I gotta do bidding, I gotta do this and
Yeah,
that. And oh my gosh, that is
yeah.
huge. That's
That is
huge,
like within
Gavin.
5 minutes. I kid you, like, so we've already introduced it to some
Wow.
of our construction guys, and they were
Yeah,
like, when they hear it, they're kind of like, no, that can't be right. And
it
then they
can't
see
happen.
it and they go
Right.
like, God, my whole business is going to change. Like, so
Yeah.
the software, they wrote the software for the 911 call originally.
Oh.
So when somebody phones the 911 call, the camera can see exactly what's going on for the paramedics and for the police. And so they were using it as a situational observational tool, that was feeding back all the information, and it would do a report at the end of the call. And so when all these guys are racing to the scene to help, whatever, they'd have all of the facts played
Yeah.
out. And so they used that, and they used that software to, they said, construction, let's go to construction, because the construction has a
Huge.
need for this. Yeah. So they've
They're
broken it
so
up into HVAC, plumbing and heating, electrical, roofing, every
wow.
different discipline is, they've actually got case studies of everybody that uses it. It's phenomenal. I mean,
Oh man, guys need to go to the associations because that's your room. I mean,
yeah,
that's where the decision makers are in terms of those investments. Whoa, I'm excited. That's the super excited, especially. Yeah, I mean, that's like lead time, that's materials, I mean, just
yeah.
being able to move a lot faster.
Think about the amount of people
Wow.
that have to meet on a site in order to have a
Yeah.
conversation and a discussion and a plan. And then everybody goes and does their own little administration in order to feed
Yep.
into that plan,
Yep.
and just wrap that all up into like a 10-minute demonstration using your phone. Like, that's just blow my mind
So
stuff. Like,
like we're talking about pool planning, right? So like talking about different people getting in a room and
yeah,
saying, okay, so this is the schedule. We need all of you guys to come together and we need to devise a plan. So you're going to do this and you're going to do this. You tell me how long is it going to take? How, like, based off what we've got, like, how do we layer these up? And you're saying we could do that. Just scan the room or even the drawings, right? Like,
it does.
just
No,
look
no,
at the CDs,
everything. No, everything. And you can,
everything.
and
Wow.
It estimates the amount of days that it's going to take you to do the project as well.
Oh,
The AI does that for you.
I mean,
And
wow.
to within a day, it's accurate. To within 1 day, it's accurate. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I mean, cost of materials just changed. Like just having that conversation.
Yeah.
So quickly. Now it's not, I need to figure out the market analysis. I could just boom, get it out to you. Who cares about Windows? You know what I mean? Like it's just, you get today's price versus whenever you can get around to it, a week or 10 weeks, you know.
Like,
wow, that changes things.
We were doing it for one of our clients, and we never mentioned like the furniture, like the type of furniture. We never mentioned, we mentioned that the furniture had to change. So
Right.
it actually, when the AI report came out, it said change the 2-seater brown leather furniture for new furniture. So I don't know how it's learning, but like through the video, it was able to recognize that it was a brown leather couch. There was no mention in narrative or talk or text about brown leather. There was the narrative was around changing the furniture, not around the brown leather couch.
Oh my gosh.
So
that's brilliant. So
I'm not here to promote. I'm not here to like to have a podcast on LifeSwitch, but it was like,
honestly, we need to have a separate conversation about this product because I like, yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I'm excited. I'm excited because I know that that's one of the biggest pain points in project delivery in construction.
Correct.
And to get collaboration amongst all. And so when we say trades, if you're not in construction, like we say trades, we mean like trying to imagine you're a part of the customer journey for your client and you're in marketing, for example. Now you're the marketing strategist. You have to partner with the email person, the copywriter, the graphic designer, everybody to deliver the thing. Yeah. That is complicated if they're not all within the same company, which oftentimes it's not. So each and every person has their own clients, their own business, their own systems, their own timelines, their own pricing. And we have to come together to solve a problem for our client. That's what we're talking about when we talk about construction and trades. So this is saying, well, we can just devise a plan and then disperse the plan based off the team that you need. And here's the timeline, here's the budget, and we're done. Like that is brilliant.
It's ridiculous.
Brilliant.
No, like,
that changes project management. I mean, like I would be
coordination,
going to PMA. I would be going to different organizations. Wow.
Changes procurement, changes, and it's endless. So, say for example, if we go outside construction and we look at maintenance and repairs, so customer rings you or says they have an issue, you ring them through the platform. By the way, the phone call is free, so there's no charge. It's via the web. The customer opens up the app, not the app, opens up the call, turns on the camera and says, okay, my HVAC is not working and blah, 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 blah. And AI will do a report and tell them what to do, how to fix it. It doesn't have to be told how to fix it. It will tell them how to fix it because it's learned or it's learning from the information that's on the internet. That type of model, it'll pick up the whole, without even saying what type of model it is, it'll know from looking at it what type of model it is, and then it'll come out with the report.
Okay, so on the back end of it, can you tie it to, because I know big businesses, right? They're going to want it to be theirs, right? So is there a way to tie it back into their CRMs and their Deltex and their account? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, but sitting on a gold mine.
No, but on top of that, it has its own CRM.
Oh, good for small businesses because they don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
It has its 100%. Own CRM. So keep all your quotes in one place, keep all your invoices and your documentation all in one place, keep all your contacts in one place. It has its own CRM. But it has multiple APIs for different things. Simpro. I don't know if you've heard of Simpro.
Yeah.
It connects with Simpro.
Simpro. Wow.
So a lot of construction contractors would use
like
Simpro.
Procore and my gosh.
Cool. So I have a shareholding in another software company, a safety software company. And I showed the CEO this AI, and I'd spoken to him over the phone, and he just rang me. I says, I have to be part of this.
Yeah.
We're going to join. We're actually going to plug our software into this solution, this AI solution. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's crazy. But like the
That's
point
crazy.
where we were going with this was, you know, if you're talking about innovation, if there's any innovation that you're going to do, my advice is AI is where it's at. You don't have to worry about, you know, all the accountancy stuff that was solved years ago. You know, pretty much accountancy packages, as you know, Melinda, they're pretty much there. They do everything they need to do. They're simple to use. They're effective. From an innovation point of view, AI is where it's at, and AI is going to, it won't reduce. It'll take the administration burden out of businesses if it's used in the right way.
I agree with that. I think so. All right, let's talk about that. Okay, so we're talking about innovation. We're talking about improving the way that we do business, making it better, and sharing it with other people, right?
Yeah.
Because that's really the leverage, right? Once we figure something out and it's working, now we get to share it with other people and make their lives better. Because I feel like for business owners, well, at least those that I'm talking to, they're over the hump of fear of AI. Like, I think there was like the season of, I don't want to use it. It's going to take away from my business. Now I have to compete with it. Now it's like, oh, I can leverage it to like grow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. What would you recommend? I was just kind of like, I wanted to see like where we're at with it in terms of agreement. Like, where would you recommend someone start to incorporate AI into their business? Let's call it a service business. It's easier.
Well, in the construction industry, like that tool is a game changer. Like, because it does everything. It does the procurement, it does the operations, it does the safety, it does the legal and contracts. What more do you want? Like, if you sit down, take a pen and look at all the inefficiencies in your business. The inefficiencies, everybody, if they're open and honest and we're upfront and say, okay, you know, how you manage your numbers can be inefficient. How you manage your people can be inefficient. How you manage your contracts can be inefficient. How you manage safety can be inefficient. How you manage quality can be inefficient.
Yeah.
So
in your systems.
Yeah. So and like, what do? You end up paying people lots of money for what? You know, if the system is inefficient, well, then that's the system's fault, and that's your fault because you haven't made the system simplified, or you haven't made it efficient in the way that it's going to benefit your business. And now you're paying people to sit on an inefficient system.
Ooh, wow. Ooh, that hurt. I know somebody hurt. I felt that. That's painful. That is painful because, you know, most businesses are like leaky buckets, right? Like, let's just be real. They're leaky buckets, and it's just like, well, we just got to make money. Let's just worry about being reactive versus proactive, right? It's just easier. Society teaches us that. So what we're talking about is like how to improve it. And so in order to improve something, we have to see what it is first before, you know, like we have to stop. We have to, like, as a business owner, CEO of our business, stop and take inventory of what's working, what's not working. So that's our standard metric. Like, this is terrible. And where I want it is here.
But like, let's go back to old school. And like, so there's still a model for old school methods. So what's an old school method that can meet with the new school? I'll tell you what an old school method is. Get in the bloody canteen, sit down with the guys and ask them what they do in their business and what you can do to improve your business. That's a simple conversation. You don't need a survey form or a Google form to go out on an email and hope that they might send it back to you. Pen and paper, cup of coffee, chat, 7 o'clock in the morning. Guys, how can I'm struggling here. Tell me, how can we do this better? You know, let's be honest and let's have an honest conversation with ourselves. What do I need to do to make this company better? Because if it's a better company, there's going to be more money, and then that means I can give you guys a better rate of pay, and we can have better PPE and workwear, and we can have better equipment, and I can buy new vehicles. But at the moment, I'm stuck, and I see a lot of business owners, and they're afraid to have those hard conversations, but yet they're kind of angry and frustrated because they're not moving their business forward, and they know that their business is stuck, but they will not have the hard conversations with the team. And it could be the team can be the client as well. Don't forget that.
That's true.
Your clients probably spend more time with your employees than you do.
Yeah. And so if you're having unhappy employees, you probably have unhappy clients.
100%. And the client won't say that to you, but they just won't use you again on the next job. Or they might be using a different type of plumbing or engineering company on a different project, but under the same client. And they might be saying to that other plumbing and heating company, hey, you should use Gavin. He's a great guy. He's a great attitude. He's a smashing worker. And he's with that company, but they don't really look after him, and they don't really, care about him. And I've heard some stories and blah, blah, blah. So we've seen that as well. So the client now is referring good workers over to another competitor on another project because they know that they're not going to use you anymore.
Wow. They just want the person. They're like, they're good to just get them, so then we can continue to work with you.
Yeah. So they look at it and they go, we're going to lose that company anyway because that company doesn't have the standards that we want. But we like one or two of their guys. And how do we hold on to one or two of the guys? They will go to the other company that they want to use and say, by the way, see if you can poach or grab those guys because they're good guys. We don't want to lose them within our business structure.
Yeah, it's all about like, man, I would love to give you this work, but I really love this Gavin guy over there. I'd give you this work in a heartbeat if you had him. And it's like they already planted the idea and that's it. They just run with it.
Yeah.
Man.
And guess what? If you're a good business owner, at the end of the day, you've got to feed your family. So you're going to bring that Gavin guy out for a cup of coffee and sit down and go, what's it going to take for me to get you over the line for you to come work for me? Well, I'd like better hours. I'd like more money. And I wouldn't mind a brand new car.
Yeah.
That's just Gavin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But it's smart business. It's smart business. And so for people listening to this, like, that's old school.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good business. Like, you might think, okay, that's not right. You shouldn't. That's not nice that a client would do that. No, clients don't do that. Listen, it's business. It's not personal.
It's not personal. We're not talking about how we feel about it. We're talking about how to get it done and without a headache. Yeah. There's this conversation is reminding me of a book called The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni. Have you read that book?
No.
It's a good read. It's a really simple and good read. It has a little exercise at the back end of really identifying what an ideal player looks like. But having those humble conversations, right? Just talking to team members and saying, what's working, what's not working. Well, where do you think that we need to improve? And that's huge because they're there because they care at some level, right? They care for something, even if it's just a paycheck, but they do care.
Yeah.
And then what about like the closest clients, right? Your recurring clients, are they happy? Are they satisfied? Like, what's working, what's not working? Hey, include them in the vision. I think it's really powerful. When I started doing that with my team members, oh my gosh, like we had a client who was giving us a headache, and thankfully I had already included my team in the conversation about where we're going with the business.
Yeah.
And they wrote it through, even though that client was a headache. They wrote it through. They were just like, you know what, Melinda, we have a bigger vision, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful for that. It just but it was hard to make that humble step. It is opening up.
But we talk about, innovate with purpose, but have discussions with purpose. So when you're going in to meet the guys, before you meet them, write down what the topic is going to be, what the outcome you're looking for is going to be. And it's interesting what you'll find on what your perception of the outcome will be and actually what the outcome tends to be can be two different things. People can, once you have a trust and honor system in the business, and you're open, people will respect you for it. And so, look, you tell them the good news, but you also tell them the bad news. Bad news, guys, we lost that project. Sorry, we don't have as many hours coming towards you as we should have, but guess what? I'm working on it, and I'm going to do my damnedest to make sure that you guys are looked after. That's all they need. That statement is good enough for them.
That's very true. That's very true. No, because I've lived through that. Like I've lived through that and seen people I employ turn around and root for me, support me. I mean, brought me to tears because I'm like, wow, you guys really care. It's like, yes, we care. It's not just about a job at that point. It's about a vision. And so casting that vision, but then sharing it with your team is really bad. And I've tried the email thing. I've tried emailing the vision. That doesn't land. No, they need to hear it. So I recorded a loom and I sent it out. Those that were live in the Zoom room, they heard it. And the rest of my team who's on a different time zone, they heard it when they watched it. Like they saw me, they saw how I got lit up and excited and talked about different things. So the media matters here, but I love that what you're saying is like intentionally making decisions to improve and innovate your business, especially around AI. And that is going to help with the education in your business.
It is.
So you're bringing AI in, someone might say, oh, well, they're trying to replace me. No, have a conversation. Say, this is going to help you do your job better. This is going to help me, help you get promoted into a different role because of your expertise and your experience and your knowledge of our business. 100%. So I think that's going to help too. Yeah.
Especially in the trade business, if we can help the trade people be the other thing that I found with that software actually, and I don't know if the other AI stuff does it, but when you come across somebody that's really geeky and kind of nerdy with their, that everyone has come across somebody that like they're so mad passionate about what they do that it's nearly like a nerdy kind of conversation when you're talking to them. They're so invested in their trade, and I love that. I feed off that. I just love talking to those people.
Yeah.
But there's other people that wouldn't be as conscientious, or maybe just not as skillful, but they'd still get the job done. But they probably wouldn't be. It might take them a bit longer to solve a problem. For example, if the HVAC is not working, it might take them a little bit longer to solve that problem. Okay. AI is going to fix that. AI is going to bring a level playing field for, the top grade A players are now going to have, more people joining them because the average person that might take them a bit longer, AI is going to educate them to a point to get them to solve the issue quicker than what they would normally do.
I love that. So this is a level up for mediocre. I mean, like if you're, I mean, there's really no other way to say it. Yeah. I mean, let's be real, like, because, we're talking about like hiring cheap, right? It's just like, how do we get this the cheapest way so we can make the most profit margin? But what we're saying here is like, we just want someone that's hungry, that's willing to learn. They're doing the job. They're not as passionate, but they're doing the job really well. And then we incorporate AI. We love their personality. They are great to our company culture. And we introduce AI. Now there's more value. Now, instead of just having the expert and the nerd, we also have someone who is still evolving, right? It's taking a little bit of a longer pace. And then they can do just as good. Now it increases the value of the business because you have more experts available to you versus just having one or two
that are solving the problem.
Eliminates bottlenecks, right?
They're solving the problem quicker.
Yeah. and I don't mean mediocre in a bad way. Like,
No, no, no. I didn't
I
want to go
just,
there either.
but like average, I guess, or,
Yeah.
because I 100% know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're not.
Someone who
They're
is,
the B players. They're not the A players.
yeah, that's a nicer way of saying it. Yeah, 100%. I get cut and dry, like when you're around people who, especially in the building industry, it's just like, it just is what it is. When I started my entrepreneur journey, I had to learn like being nice. It doesn't come easily to me. I'm like, hey, what's up? Good morning. So let's get into it. And no, it's too tough, Melinda. You got to kind of pull it back. You got to ask them about them. And I'm like, of course, I love them. Like, I always ask at the end, but I
Yeah.
bring that up to the fore to build relationships. So, and then now I just can't stop talking about this stuff. It's
Yeah.
personalities
Yeah.
and relationship
And children and all that.
and children and everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what were we supposed to talk about? Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. We're here to do
So.
business, Melinda. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
How's business for you?
It's really good. So I'm glad that you asked me. It's really, really good. And it's exciting right now. I had to make a rough pivot 2 years ago in our agency because we were spending way too much time on the private sector. And I had to really kind of think about what the future is for my business that I'm going to be in for, at least another decade.
Yeah.
And so we have the agency arm, the done for you proposal development. And I've been building haphazardly, been building, branding, speaking, presenting, coaching, all that stuff. It's kind of coming as the demand is, but really now being more intentional. Like, I guess that's the theme of the conversation is intentionality.
Yeah.
And so that requires a pivot in the way that our team is structured legally, financially. It's a lot of change. So I'm excited about 2026 because we have now standardized some of our systems. So, well, the majority of our systems. And the team is excited. I'm excited. And it's going to be a really good year. However, it's going to go really, really fast. I don't know. I just have this prediction. It's going to go extremely fast. For people that are ready to move, it's going to be great. It's going to be successful. And people are not ready to move. It's going to be really painful, but it's going to go really fast. So either way, so that's what we're doing now is preparing for a really good year.
Sounds like you've really had a good sort of strategic moment in terms of the business, which can take time. It can take months to sort of see that play out. We were there as well, where we pivoted a long time back, and I think for must be 6-8 months, the phones weren't ringing as much as what they used to, and the staff were kind of saying, "Do we need to look for another job here?" And I was like, "No, just wait.
Yeah,
we need to pivot here because we're doing stuff that's low volume, that's low price, and we don't need to be in that market anymore." So we were basically cutting off a lot of our business, and we went into the premium market. So once we got the first premium contract, then it was the next one, then it was the next one, and then we didn't have to go back into the mid market or the low budget market anymore. But it was a scary time because you've built this business to a certain level, and now if you do not hit the numbers, you're gone.
You're gone. It was a mixture. It was focusing on premium clients who had lower end mindsets, and so what happens in that arena is that the value, they don't understand the value. They're not truly understanding the value of what they're investing in. And so it's just kind of educating them on why they're even doing it every single day and every single month. And so it was really draining for our team. It was draining for me. But unfortunately, like it wasn't the future. It wasn't a part of the future. I just knew that eventually we would burn out my team and then eventually it would burn out me. And I just said, no, I don't want to get that far. So it was scary. It was definitely scary, especially when you're pivoting to a new market, talking a new language. and then just deciding and making those boundaries not to go back. We still
Yeah.
have a few clients that are holding on to dear might and saying,
Yeah.
can you please do this for us? And so we're still working through that, but
Well,
at the end of the day,
that's what leadership is, though, Melinda, isn't it?
yeah. Mhm.
You have to take that hard decision, and you have to sort of go with your convictions and go, we're doing this.
It's better for them. Like, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to educate my clients on the ones that are sticking around that won't let go. Is it's better for you to find someone who is passionate about providing that specific service we no longer offer.
Yeah.
And when you're ready and you want to add government contracts, we're here for you. And you're going to have the best team because you already know who we are and what we do and all that stuff. So that was a pivot. Now, I'll tell you, Gavin, what really was the concrete moment was evaluating the last 3 to 5 years of my numbers and looking at what was the highest performing product and service.
Yeah.
What was the highest result? Now, not just like what we were making, but what was the result that we were getting for our clients? And that is when it was revealed to me in that moment. I was like, oh my gosh, we've done over $4.4 billion for people. Now it's 5.7 billion. Like, oh my good, we had no idea. We were just going.
Yeah.
And so I implore anybody that's listening just to kind of like pause, look at what's working and eliminate the other 80%, because the 20% oftentimes is exactly what will get you the other 100% that you're looking for growth in your business, the 10x, the 100x, the 500x, whatever it is.
Yeah. The numbers don't lie.
Yes.
The numbers don't lie.
They don't. Oh man, this is such a great conversation. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience?
Business-wise, for anybody that's looking at business, I suppose at the moment, I would be saying to them to start looking at the downside of the business. I don't want to be negative, but I think everybody is pretty much at the top of where I think the economy globally is as high as it's going to go in terms of price and in terms of consumer value. And I think the only way that it's going to go next is down. Now, it mightn't go sharply down like it did in 2008, touch wood. But I think if people, now that you're coming into the end of the season and you're going to open up new beginnings, it is a good time to look at crisis management within your business. To your point, and to the point of this podcast and this discussion, what are the gates? We have sort of a gate structure. So gate 1, gate 2, gate 3. So build out a model of how you're going to protect your business. What are the key risks? So have a risk register with these gates. So the gates the gates are meant to keep closed in order to not let something in to affect your business. And they need to be linked to a risk register for your business. So what are the risks? So we could lose an A player in Melinda. How are we going to hold on to her? Is there a potential that she might leave? That piece of equipment is 25 years old. If that gives in, that means we're going to have to go to the market to buy something which is going to cost us 25 grand just to replace that piece of equipment.
Yeah.
All these touch points are really good, and it might never happen. They might not be a problem, but at least you're putting the structure in place that if something does go wrong, the whole business doesn't get destabilized, and you don't get destabilized as a leader. That you're okay. We have this sorted. There's a fund there that's allowing for materials breaking, equipment breaking, a loss of a client, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's very wise instruction, to have an earmark, a set aside, something to protect yourself, ensure that you have the right systems in place, increase the value of your client journey and your team journey, right? Just making sure that we're not just getting it done, but we're doing it our way with our finesse and our unique differentiators. I love that. Thank you so much.
No
That
problem.
was This was a great conversation. I'll definitely have to have you again on a
Yeah.
podcast. And
No, I
man,
enjoyed it so much, and we have
yeah,
to get you on our podcast as well again in the future. It was a brilliant
yeah,
episode. Really enjoyed it.
for sure, for
Thank you so
sure.
much.
For
Yeah.
everybody, I'm gonna make sure to have Gavin's links down below, his book, his website, his podcast. We're also going to have a link to this AI tool
Yeah,
called
if you use my affiliate link, you'll get 10%
Oh, awesome.
discount on it. I think it's $160 for 2 people per month.
That's cool.
Why wouldn't you?
Why would you not? Like, that's nothing compared
Yeah.
to the hourly rate of doing all the work. Oh man, my goodness. Yeah, there's tons of people I want to share this with. So I'm excited about that product. That's going to be a revolutionary opportunity for a lot of businesses.
I'll give
Well,
you a link. I'll give you a link to our construction safety software tool as well.
Oh, cool.
You'll get 10% discount on that as well. It's hustro.com /Gavin Coyle. I'll send you a link to that as well, Melinda. So
Sweet.
use that link, you'll get. And then if anyone wants, we have our own safety hub platform, which is a load of free templates, tools, and resources for health and safety. So if anybody wants to join the safety hub, they're more than welcome. You can download any of that material for free. It also sends you safety alerts every week of anything got to do with health and safety within the globe. So you'll get that for free as well.
Wow, that's a lot of value. For sure. For sure. I'll email Mary just to see if I can help you out with getting all those links over to us. But
no problem.
man, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited about the new year. I'm excited for everybody listening to this podcast because we dropped so many gems in here. And it's going to be a good year. Thank you so much, Gavin, for being here and being a guest. You were an amazing guest. And for everybody else that's listening, take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to grow your business. Don't hold back. Don't delay. It's enough of we'll get to it later. Let's just take action. Let's do it now. Do it while you're driving. Just pull up something that can dictate notes to and do it while you're driving. There's no excuse these days. AI is here to save your business and save your life and transform what you have into something really great, even greater than it already is. All right. I'll see you guys next time.
Take care, Melinda. All the best.